Okay, so as much as it pains me to say this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to come out and say that, you know what? For the next election, I'm voting Labour. You know what? I could literally stop the video right now and the response would be exactly the same, but with certain news stories coming out and certain revelations coming into my mind about people, certain publications seeming to think that we're now adamant that we're going to be sending, migrants off to Rwanda, or that we're apparently just going to just walk out of the Court of Human Rights. I'm just I'm just gonna say right now, ladies and gentlemen, like all bets are off. I'm done with this facade. I'm done with this bullshit. You know what? You may immediately say that again. You think Starmer is going to but we're not even bringing Starmer into this for 1 second. I'm bringing up the aspect of what Labour should be and what I believe Labour should be. That's the reason I'm voting for Labour. I'm not voting it because, I have a picture of, Keir Starmer on my wall or anything like that. That's not what this is about. This is about just doing it for what I think are the right reasons. That's it. I'm not voting for anybody else or voting for any party in particular for any other reasons than what I believe is the right reason to do it. You call it what you may, ladies and gentlemen, but to be honest, I feel like I've just about hit the wall with this, and I'm not going to spend the rest of my time arguing with complete and utter idiots from the Reform Party. I'm not going to be sitting here arguing with complete and utter idiots from the Conservative Party. I'm not going to be sitting here and arguing the toss about people who are theoretically on the exact same side as me from the Labour Party. I'm not going to sit here and argue the toss, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? Again, I'm at that point in my life where I'm just so utterly done with trying to argue with people about things that. Now, to be fair, ladies and gentlemen, I personally think that again, just I've made my point about I'm voting it for the reasons I believe in. I believe very simply again, for education, for the NHS, for there to be safe streets, for crime to go down, for people to have brighter futures, for there to be actual stability and infrastructure to people's lives, to look after the most vulnerable members of society, and the strong protecting the weak. Fundamentally, those are what I believe and what I stand for as far as, this election is going to concern. And I'm not entirely sure how anybody is going to justify how exactly anything else other than those policies or those specific, details are going to be met, or rather who's going to say that those things are not our primary concern. That's basically that. And well, listen, I've been around the block again, ladies and gentlemen. I could tell you immediately the first day I found out about this whole idea of wanting to send migrants off to Rwanda, and I literally said, no, absolutely no way is this going to happen. And it's going to cause absolute nothing but havoc on this country, because think about how much is going to be spent to send at best 300 people all the way to Rwanda, if they can even do that. Again, who's going to pay for the cost of the ticket? And finally, ladies and gentlemen, once, like I said before, there is a nasty out of sight, out of mind attitude to all this. If it was people who committed crimes here and who aren't even legally allowed to be in this country, you know what? Again, deportation. Fair enough. That's not even up for debate. Of course, there's if you come to this country, you got to abide by the laws of this country. That's not controversial. That's how that is. But what I don't quite understand, ladies and gentlemen, maybe this is the part where maybe some problems, is that what I don't understand is that that's completely fair. That makes sense. That's logical. And people are trying to argue with me with things that are completely illogical, and things that they're trying to point fallacies and holes in things that I think are perfectly logical. And even me and people on the other side of the political debate, we could actually have a level of common interest. It makes sense to obey the law. It makes sense to do what is right for our families and for the people we love. And guess what? I don't need any politician or any spokesperson to come in here and try to tell me something that I already know. I know the economy is completely on its arse. I know that just trying to drive out of my home town and that, there's more potholes every 50 yards than I've ever known at any other point in my life while living here for 26 years. And once again, it's you don't need to go very far. You don't need to go as far as saying, what's going on in Israel to find discomfort and disorderly conduct. And all of this about why are we selling, arms to Israel. And to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, again, the ins and outs of the debates in Israel are one thing. But I also like to imagine that, we've got enough problems going on here right now. And why exactly we're getting involved in somebody else's... Again, where are we going to, I don't understand. I mean, again, you could argue for things like, there's a lot of... we have a lot of supporters from Israel or stuff like that. But I'm just in the mind to just say right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's just... What about what's going on right now? What about, child poverty that's happening in this country? What about... You see what I'm trying to get at? And it's just... I feel as if, people have had the wool pulled over their eyes for far too long. And I think we've just about had enough about people who are obviously trying to play the martyr or try to play God when fine well their house is so completely out of order, it's literally spilling out onto the front lawn. And the more people become better adjusted to what's actually going on here, maybe people will soon realize that actually people coming in with some 2-bit argument about reform parties and UKIP and that Brexit is great, it is a billion-dollar success, people are going to realize that those things are completely not true. And whether they want to change their opinions or their votes or not is one thing, and that's a different kettle of fish right there. But it's the fact that just to think about it. That's all I'm trying to get across, is for people to at least really think about what's going on and what exactly do you choose to do with it. And again, to the people who say that Labour is just it's just the other cheek of the same arse, well, once again, the people who say that are the literal arsehole of this argument. They are the literal holes. They are an endless, bottomless black hole that offers nothing, but also gives nothing. There is nothing to it, and if you don't take sides, then why even bother voting? You know what? My great-granddad died during World War II in 1941. He died fighting for the freedoms of this country. You know what? Not voting would be an absolute disgrace to the memory of my great-granddad, and that's why I vote. Not probably even more so, because guess what? He died doing what he felt was the right thing. So I'm going to do what I do for the right thing. Do the right thing, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.